Hello, everyone. BHV here, and as you can see, I have a bracket here on the screen. That means we are going to be making picks once again, and also really bad picks, for the 2024 National Football League playoffs. And we have another crazy slate of games. Some great, others not so much. Looking at you, Tampa, Philly, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. So I'm not the only one making picks today. I am joined by
Your boy Waterford WX, also along here with.
Mason Rails Fannyvids or Prod by Mason.
You will be seeing Prod by Mason in his bracket because the other name, Mason Rail Fannyvids, is way too long, so I will not be putting that on the screen. And of course, you'll see Water for WX when I make the picks. And again, here's your bracket. In the AFC wildcard, you have Houston, Cleveland, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Kansas City, Miami, with Baltimore getting the bye. The NFC, San Francisco had the bye. So you have Tampa, Philly, Dallas, Green Bay, and Detroit and the Rams. Detroit's finally back. Cleveland's finally back. This is only their second year. Houston went from blowing the first pick last year to the fourth seed in the AFC this year. Some crazy stats. And of course, the 49ers and the Ravens are good again. So who knows if that's Super Bowl preview, but I don't know if that'll be. So how about we just start making picks?
All right, so here's how it's gonna go. So I'm pretty sure we said that Zach's going first, I'm going second, and Mason's going third. And this is for each individual game. And we'll be going up to down through the bracket for the wild card. And I'll try to make it quicker than last time, than 55 minutes.
It took us 55 minutes last time. We'll try to be quicker this time, although we're already at 2 minutes. So it took us 2 minutes just to do the introduction. So here we go.
So let's hop right into it. Zach, make your pick for Houston, Cleveland.
Houston versus Cleveland. Of course, the Texans are your fourth seed. They won the AFC South. And the Cleveland Browns, they won the AFC North, right? I didn't really keep tap with who won the divisions. No, Baltimore did.
Won the
Baltimore
AFC
won the
North.
AFC North.
They're the
Baltimore
one
did.
seed.
I'm already such an idiot. I'll edit that out. Cleveland finished second in the AFC North. I completely forgot about Baltimore. God, I'm such a moron. They finished 2 games behind them. So, looking at each team, we're going to first look at Cleveland. Obviously, these two teams played on December 24th. It was in Houston. Cleveland came away with the win. However, CJ Stroud wasn't playing for Houston. I'm not sure if he's back. You guys can probably fill me in on that.
Who? Sorry, I wasn't listening.
CJ Stroud, the Houston quarterback.
Oh yeah, he's back.
So he's back. Davis Mills played that game. So we'll see if that makes any difference against Cleveland. And of course, I'm pretty sure Cleveland's quarterback for that game is going to be Flacco.
Yep. Because they have to sit Flacco week 18.
Yep. I'm looking at the ESPN matchup predictor, and it's very split. They favor Cleveland it's gonna be just barely. Will CJ Stroud make a difference for Houston? I think so. I'm going to say Houston wins this game. We're going to go 23 to, I'm going to say 23-21. Houston wins the game, and they move on to the divisional round. Go ahead.
My turn? All right. So, as I mentioned before, in my opinion, this is going to be the best game of the entire playoffs. Now, I know the Bears are my first favorite team, but Cleveland is around my second to third favorite team, behind or ahead of the Bills, because I have family from Cleveland and I just really like the Browns. I really love what Joe Flacco is doing right now. We really need to talk about Joe Flacco. The Browns have been through a lot of injuries this season, including Nick Chubb's and Deshaun Watson's season-ending injuries. And we really thought the Browns were just done for. But no, they brought in Joe Flacco, and quite a few of the young guys as well really started to step up. And this Cleveland team this Cleveland young team, including Joe Flacco, they proved to be a very strong playoff caliber team. Now I know Joe Flacco has been in the league for quite some time, but I think they're going to pull it off against CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, who went from blowing the first round pick, the first overall pick. Thank you, Texans. Even though the Bears get back to back first overall picks. Thank you, Carolina, as well. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very good matchup. CJ Stroud versus Joe Flacco. That's going to be very fun to watch. And now the Texans, I don't think anybody would have ever predicted that the Texans
Nope.
would be the kings of the AFC South. But
Not 5
I am
weeks
going
ago.
to be taking, yep, I am going to be taking the Browns winning 28-27.
So you have a really close game. Cleveland only winning by 1.
Yep,
I had Houston by 2 again. This is going to be a good game. Through and through.
yep.
Mason?
All right, so I mean, pretty much just like Gavin said, this is going to be a really great game in the wild card slot on Super Wild Card Weekend. I mean, but what the Texans have been doing, their offense has been improving a lot ever since this season with CJ Stroud, and with CJ Stroud out, their offense has not been doing pretty good. I mean, this is going to be a really close game.
CJ Stroud is
Absolutely.
actually back in.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is. Pretty sure he knew that.
but with yeah, I did. But with CJ Stroud coming back for Houston, I mean, well, Cleveland has had a really good offense, but their defense kind of a little bit on top. But I don't think Cleveland's defense is going to handle CJ Stroud in this Texans offense. I'm going to go with Houston winning this one. I want to say 26-23.
Okay, so we all have a close game of within 3 points. This tells you this is going to be a good game. By the way, the team on the top is the home team. I put the team on the top as the higher seed, or the higher seed on top.
Yeah.
Just how a normal bracket will look. This game is in Houston, which is where Michigan just won the national championship. We're not going to talk about that part. We don't need to. So the next game is. Hang on, give me just a minute. Give me a minute. Cut the cameras. Cut the cameras.
What's going on?
What could I possibly be doing?
Oh, I think he's doing something funny.
I got the Bills hoodie
Oh,
that I got for
I
Christmas
know what
on
he's. Yeah,
now.
I knew exactly what you were doing.
So I don't know
Now,
why I didn't have this
I
on at the
don't have.
beginning.
The only thing though, I don't have my Josh Allen shirt on right now though.
So let's get into Buffalo and Pittsburgh. I mean, does this game need any introduction? The Steelers
No,
stuck in
absolutely not.
because how did they even get in? Because they won
They have
their
a very
game.
strong defense.
They won their game, sure. But how much help did they get to get in?
Not a lot.
Of course, they beat Baltimore, but again, they had everybody out. So I don't want to hear you all at home saying the Steelers beat the best team in the AFC. They were literally resting every single starter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear it. Ever since Buffalo lost to Philly, they've just been rattling off wins. Ever since they fired Ken Dorsey after Denver, they won 6 out of 7 with their only loss being to a pretty solid Philadelphia Eagles team who regressed a little bit towards the end of the season, but we'll get into that later. They beat the Chiefs on the road, a very tough Cowboys team, the Chargers, the horrible Patriots, and the other team that was in the race for the AFC East, Miami. Josh Allen stepped up. He stepped his game up, of course. James Cook, a very solid RB. And think about Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, two very solid tight ends. They were stout defensively against the Dolphins, which makes me believe they'll be stout again against Mason Rudolph. Is that who's playing for Pittsburgh?
It's either going to be Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph. I think.
Probably Rudolph. I thought Kenny Pickett was out with
I
something.
think he. I don't remember.
This game's not going to be close. Give me the Bills. But I'm going to say 38-14.
All right, I'm just gonna real quick make this pick. There's really not much to say about this game. But we do talk about the Bills, how they were in quite the struggle of points. Who are at once 6-6 on the season. After firing Ken Dorsey, they really started to turn things around. And Josh Allen has been playing like a level of quarterback he truly is. On the Pittsburgh side, yeah, we're not sure how they got in, but Mike Tomlin, the Steelers will always finish with a record of above 500, as they have the last like 18 something years. I don't know. But that being said, taking Buffalo winning this game by a score of, let's say, 36-17.
Real quick, little tidbit. Every team in the AFC North finished above 500 since he got the short end of the
Mm-hmm.
stick.
Yeah.
Mason?
The Bengals, they were missing Joe Burrow and had a few other injuries. So, yeah. All right. Anyways, Mason's muted right now, so might take him a little bit. All right. There he is.
All right.
All
Make
right,
your pick
so
for Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
with Buffalo and Pittsburgh here in the AFC wildcard slot, the last time these two teams played each other was, I believe, was during the 2022 season. And I believe it might have been in Buffalo,
I think
and
you're right.
Pittsburgh got just blown out like it was 40 to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And but I mean, the Steelers' offense has been struggling a lot this season, which I'm actually surprised they made a playoff slot.
You're surprised?
Yes,
Why?
because their offense was not doing good this season.
All right. Make your pick.
So, and again, this Bills offense has improved a lot ever since Ken Dorsey got fired. I'm going to go with Buffalo winning this one. I want to say 37-12.
Unanimous. So we all have Buffalo moving to the divisional round of the AFC playoff. Yeah, this is pretty much unanimous.
All right. On to Kansas City and Miami.
Chiefs against Dolphins. Or should I say the Swifties?
Yep.
Now I can't wait for all the Swifties in the comments to get funny with me. Now, let's talk a little bit about Kansas City. Can we just talk about how many drops there have been in their receiving core? Like, what is going on?
Absolutely. Besides Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes really doesn't have any other weapons. I mean, the Chiefs wide receiving core, with how mediocre they've been this season, explains why the Chiefs finished with a record of 11-6, which exceeded well below expectations. And they were at one point 9-6. Well, obviously, it wasn't the Chiefs' year.
I mean, they finished above everybody else in the AFC West because it's the AFC West. The other teams in there are the
Yeah,
Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers. So what are you
and
gonna
the
do?
Raiders and the Broncos actually did like decently well. I mean, you talk about honorable God, I can't speak. Honorable mention to the Broncos though. That's besides the point.
Chiefs did lose to the Raiders at home, though.
Uh-huh. And they also lost to the Broncos.
Yeah, but that was on the road.
And okay, no, they didn't lose to the Chargers, but they did lose two divisional games this year.
And obviously they lost to the Bills earlier in December, and that was when the receivers, especially Kadarius Toney, broke Patrick Mahomes. They
Yeah.
broke him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about Miami, they looked good against Buffalo. And they've
They
looked
did.
good pretty much the entire course of the season. I mean, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, they beat a very solid Cowboys team over Christmas. I mean, obviously they got smoked by the Ravens, but that's because it's the Ravens. They're the best team in the AFC. It's not close. They might be the best team in football. Because they did beat the 49ers, the
But
Ravens
right
did.
now they are the best. They are the best team in football.
Now, they played in Frankfurt. These two teams played in Frankfurt, Germany. The Chiefs won by 7. I just can't see them winning again, even though it is in Kansas City and it's going to be really cold. Dude, this is hard. As badly as I want to pick the Dolphins, you just can't doubt the Chiefs at home in the playoff, right?
Although I will say this, the Chiefs' home record, they actually did not do very well at home this season. I'm pretty sure they went like 4-4, 5-4. I don't know, but they didn't do too well. People say Arrowhead Stadium always has an advantage. Yeah, that wasn't really the deal this season. They lost like plenty of home games. They lost like half of their home slate. I'm pretty sure. They
I just
lost to the
typed.
Lions, the
Yep.
Eagles, the Bills, the Raiders, and I can't think. I'm pretty sure that's all the home games they lost.
I just typed my prediction in. I got the Dolphins winning.
All right.
That's my first upset pick. So I've got the Dolphins playing against Baltimore in the divisional round.
All right.
And that would
So
put
for my pick,
hang on.
all right.
That would put I got Miami against Baltimore in the divisional round. And that would put Houston against Buffalo. Go ahead.
All right. So for my pick for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins, I already said a lot of stuff about this earlier while Zach was making this pick. As much as I would love to pick the Dolphins, I mean, I think the Dolphins really do have a chance. But you talk about the amount of injuries that the Dolphins have been dealing with a lot of their starters. So, I mean, the Chiefs had a rough year in the regular season, but I think they're going to redeem themselves. I still think it's going to be a pretty good game. So give me the Chiefs winning by a score of, let's see here. I'm actually going to pick the Chiefs winning by a score of 17-13.
Wow, really low scoring. I put 21-17. So you have Kansas City against Buffalo.
Yep,
Only this
that's a
time
classic.
it's in Buffalo and not in Kansas City.
Oh, so maybe the Bills can actually win a playoff game against the Chiefs, although the Bills have won every single regular season game at Arrowhead the last 3 years.
And you have the Browns against the Ravens
Mm-hmm.
in the divisional round. Yeah, good luck.
All right, Mason.
All right, so this is a matchup that I would actually really like to see. But we mentioned it earlier. It's going to be really cold in Kansas City for
Oh
this
yeah,
playoff game.
I forgot to mention that too.
It's
And
gonna
the
be
That's why I
ball
chilly.
think it's gonna be
control,
low scoring.
Yeah.
it's just not going to be good the way these NFL fans want it to go. So I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go with Miami on this one. I feel like their offense is going to improve after the
I,
loss
I
against
honestly
Buffalo.
don't blame you. I think it's winnable for both teams, so nothing crazy there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Miami winning this one. I want to say 13-10.
Okay, so you have Miami going to Baltimore in the divisional round while Houston goes to Buffalo. So that's what I had. And you have the lowest scoring game out of all of us. We just got lower and lower and lower with the scores. I put 21-17. That might have been a little too high. So we move to the NFC now. We're already 18 minutes in, by the way. Tampa Bay and Philly. Tampa, your tank division winners, and Philly, your collapse division second place. They lost to the and they lost to the Cardinals. I can't with the Eagles. What are they supposed to be? They looked good early because I mean they beat the Bills, they beat the Vikings who turned out to not be great. They actually beat the Buccaneers back in week 3, I think it was. Week 3 or 4 or
Yeah,
whatever it was. Week 3.
pretty sure it was 25-11. I
That's
think.
exactly what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, the Eagles are on a skid. After they beat the Giants on Christmas, they proceeded to lose 2 straight to the Cardinals and the Giants. I'm sorry. If you lose to the Cardinals and the Giants, you're not getting picked to beat the Bucs a second time. I'm sorry. I'm going to say this is a low-scoring game. I'm going to say Tampa wins. I don't know what to put a score for. Obviously, it's not Tampa Bay anymore because Tom Brady, you get it. Philly is not scoring more than like 10 points. I'm going to go with 13-7. Tampa wins. It'll be really low scoring.
So on to my pick for the Buccaneers and the Eagles. I actually think this game will be somewhat high scoring because if you think about it, the Buccaneers, led by Baker Mayfield, their offense has been pretty good this season. Although they lost in the tanky AFC South division, as you said. I mean, the first place winner has the same record as a last place winner in the AFC North.
A last
But
place
you
winner?
talk about the last place team, I should say.
There you
But
go.
yeah, anyways. Um, so as we talk about this, the Eagles have lost five of their last 6 games, and their defense has been horrible. They gave up 35 points to the Cardinals and 27 points to the Giants. But
That
I
ain't
think
good.
the Eagles defense is gonna. I think the Eagles offense is gonna really step up come playoff time. So give me the Buccaneers winning this game by a score of 33-27.
Wow, you have a much higher scoring game than me. I'm going to up my prediction, by the way. The Eagles are not scoring more than 10 points again. I'm going to go
I don't
20 to
blame you.
7.
All right,
I'm saying 20 to 7.
Mason.
So it's going to be an interesting game. I mean, this Eagles offense has been very, very sluggish, and they've already practiced those type of drills where you can't fumble the football. You got to hold on to the ball. They already practiced that, but it just really hasn't been going Nick Sirianni's Eagles way.
Yeah.
So, but Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay, they were kind of struggling against Carolina. I feel like this is going to be a low scoring game with the way both of these defenses are going to match up against each other. Give me Philadelphia winning
Whoa.
this one 17-13.
Okay.
I
So
do
you're
think I
lone
do think the
wolfing
Eagles can
this.
somewhat turn around for the playoffs.
I mean, I feel like Tampa will get 20 because they might get like a lucky pick 6 in there or something. Now, watch me be right. But yeah, 20 to 7 was mine. We're kind of all over the place. But
Which
this
is kind of
one
good because
way
last
over
time
the
we did a
line.
video, me and Zach's picks were like almost the same.
This one way over the line. A 33-27. Why?
Okay, on to
Dallas and
the
Green
next
Bay.
game.
Dallas and Green Bay. Us three have been kind of hyping this one up.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, the winners of the NFC East, and Green Bay surged toward the end of the year, got second, but they were behind Detroit by 3 games. And do not talk to me about last week's Bears Packer game because I will go on a 15-minute rant on
Don't
why
talk to any
everybody
of
needs to
us.
be fired.
Matter of fact.
Yeah, none of us. We will get very mad at you. There is some history between these teams. Think about 2016, or was it 20? Yeah, 2016. Close game. You know, Des Bryant, did he catch it? That was 2015, I think. Of course, 2016, there was the huge completion. I don't remember who caught it. Was it Cobb? I can't remember. Then Crosby nailing the game winning kick. Dallas is not, they've never really been a playoff team. I just haven't seen it out of Dak yet. He's had many chances in the playoffs and has not delivered on any of them. Meanwhile, Green Bay normally win a game or two, but they don't normally get out of the divisional round and they don't win championships.
Especially not NFC championships.
Kevin King. Jordan Love has looked solid. He's looked like a good quarterback. Is he a franchise quarterback yet? No, we don't know any of that yet. He's no Aaron Rodgers, but
I have a feeling he could develop into one though. Probably not Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre good, but you know what I mean.
this is going to be a tight one. I don't know who to
Mm-hmm.
go with. This might be the toughest one for me to predict, honestly. Dallas and Green Bay. Who do I go with? I feel like what would push Green Bay over the edge for me is Aaron Jones. Nobody could tackle him from Chicago, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Dallas. Um, yeah, they have a better defense than the Bears. I'll tell you that much. S- I think I'm. I don't know where to go. I'm gonna go
I've
with
already have
Dallas.
my pick, man.
I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Hmm? All right.
I'm gonna say a score. I'm gonna say 31, 31-28. It'll be a good game, like we said before. So I have Dallas. So Dallas is going to host the next divisional game, of course. So I have that. You can go ahead and explain your pick while I'm setting this up.
All right. So this is gonna be either the second or third best game on the slate, in my opinion. I think the second best game would either be Detroit, LA, or Dallas, Green Bay. Now we talk about how Green Bay surprisingly made the playoffs this season, led by Jordan Love. He's had I'm pretty sure he had a pretty solid year for his first year as a full starter. Meanwhile, on the other side for Dallas, they've led up to their normal expectations. They're a pretty solid team this year. Although they didn't really do anything very impressive during the regular season. I mean, for Pete's sakes, they lost to Buffalo 31-10.
It was
But I still
31-10.
think this should be a pretty good game. And I feel like Dallas is gonna come on top. I'd say they win by a score of 27-17.
Okay. So you'll have them. So Dallas will host a divisional game for you, just like me.
Yep.
This
Mason,
is a game I've been waiting for.
go ahead.
So I feel so. This game is going to be in Dallas,
Of course.
and Green Bay has been really great with their offense,
We
from
have
what
been.
I've seen past couple of weeks. But Dallas, I feel like they are improving their offense than they did last season for the playoffs. I feel like they've improved a lot. This is going to be a high scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm give me the Cowboys winning this one 40-33.
Wow.
Jeez. 40 to you said 40 to 38
You were
or
going quite overboard there.
you said 40 to 30.
Although that would be a very exciting game to watch. Then that would make it the best game on this Super Wild Card weekend.
Mason, you said 40 to 33.
Yep.
So we all have Dallas hosting the next game. Next one is Detroit and the Rams. I was actually saying this before we started. I don't know if Detroit's ready. This year's
Yeah.
Detroit team reminds me a little bit of the Rams between like 2015 and 2017. 2016, they were awful. I don't remember what their record was, but they were awful. I can actually maybe look right now. I have the ESPN app, so I can look. Give me just a second. I'll see if they go back that far. Not on the app. Oh well. I guess I can look later, but the Rams were awful in 2016, but then they were kind of on the rise. In 2017, I think they won the NFC West over the Seahawks. Yeah, they did because the Seahawks didn't make the playoffs. But they won the West, made it to a home playoff game, and then they lost to the Falcons, who had the experience of being Falcons had been there and done that. In this case, the Rams have been there and done that, even though it's been a little bit of a struggle over the last couple of years. I don't know if the Lions are ready. But at the same time, again, the Rams have struggled and they kind of limped into the playoff this year. They look better, of course, but I just don't know. This game will be at Ford Field. The first playoff game that the Lions have ever hosted. There's a fun stat. That's a crazy stat.
Absolutely.
The Rams finished 10-7. I feel like experience will go ahead of talent because again, the Rams have Matthew Stafford. And this to me is the Matthew Stafford revenge game. Yes, Detroit will be back, but I just don't think they're ready. I'm gonna go with LA 27-16. So I have the Rams going to San Francisco.
And I also have the Rams advancing to the divisional round. I'd say this game, like I said, and I was thinking about this when this matchup was first set up, the night the week 18 was over. I just, with the amount of young talent the Lions have, even if you do like really, really good in the regular season, you just gotta get like some playoff experience. Like with all the pressure that's on your shoulders, they just don't add up because you need like playoff experience to be like a good playoff caliber team. But I still do think the Lions could pull this off if they just play like they did in the regular season. But I'm ultimately going to be taking the Rams winning by a score of 24-17.
It's
All
gonna
right.
it's kind of gonna be an interesting one. But I like the way this actually sets up. This game is at Ford Field in Detroit. Matthew Stafford is coming back to Detroit. He knows what this crowd is like at Ford Field when it's packed like this. He knows what it's like. I feel like him and this offense are gonna pop off in Detroit. This might be a high scoring game. I'm gonna go with the Rams winning this one by a close score of. I'm gonna get the Rams winning this one by a close score of 33-30.
Back to back high scoring games for Mason's picks. On to the
Kind of
divisional round now.
kind of got me a little excited when you said, they know what the crowd is like in Detroit when in a situation like this. You kind of got me excited. I thought you were going to lone wolf this, but we all go with the Rams. Experience over talent in all of our minds.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So my divisional matchups are the Ravens versus the Dolphins, the Bills versus the Texans, the Niners, the Rams, and the Cowboys and the Bucks. I already have a pick for that last one. Baltimore, Miami. Baltimore absolutely clobbered the Dolphins. It was 56-19. It wasn't even close. Obviously, Lamar was playing. He had 5 touchdowns that game. That was probably if there was another one that might have been his best game of the season, obviously against a very tough team in the Dolphins. And it's the same situation, it's at the Ravens, but sense it a little bit of cockiness. Remember when they played the Titans at home a few years ago in the playoffs and they got destroyed by Derrick Henry?
Yep.
Here's the thing, they don't have Derrick Henry to deal with. But they do have to deal with guys like Devon Achane and I think Jeff Wilson. Those are the 2 running backs for the Dolphins. I don't know if Miami's strong enough to beat the Ravens, in my opinion. It'll be a tough game at Arrowhead, and
56-19. They're not.
they might have run out of gas at that point because they get a tough win at Kansas City. They move on to Baltimore, who's well rested and ready to go. Baltimore's the better team, and it's not close. We know this. Did they beat them twice?
Hmm?
No, they're not in the same division. Never mind. I thought they were in the same division for a minute. I'm like, what? I am gonna go with the Ravens, but I think it'll be a little bit closer. I'm gonna go with 34. It definitely won't be 36-19, but I'm gonna go 34-20. The Ravens do win
Hmm?
and advance to the AFC Championship game.
All right. So it's time for my divisional pick at the top of the bracket. And isn't it the Browns and Ravens at the top of your bracket?
Yes, it is.
All right. So as we talk about this Ravens team, let's actually talk about the last time that they finished with the best overall record in the NFL and yet got shocked in the divisional round. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think this year is different, but I feel like this game is still going to be close because the Browns did beat the Ravens in Baltimore earlier in the season, and that was one of Baltimore's 4 losses. Now here's a fun fact: Baltimore they lost 4 games, and 3 of them were divisional games. One came against the
Uh-huh.
Browns, and they got swept by the Steelers. Not
Now,
sure how
how
that
does that
happened,
even happen?
but the curse continues. The Steelers just own the Ravens. Simple as that. But
Sure.
with that being said, I feel like Cleveland is still a really good team. I just don't think they're going to match up with the Ravens. I still think it'll be a somewhat close game if Cleveland comes out and makes it a close game. I'm, however, going to have Baltimore winning by a score of 22. Hmm, let's say 21-14.
Okay, so 21-14. You have a lower scoring game than I do, and closer too.
Actually, hold on. Wait. Make that 28-14. I think that's more reasonable.
28-14.
Yep.
I
Ravens
had
win.
34-20. Mason,
What's my game again?
it's
Miami and
Baltimore and
Baltimore?
Miami.
All right. Well, we all know what happened the last time these two teams met in the regular season.
I referenced it.
And it
But
was recently too.
I actually wonder if Miami is disciplined enough to go up against this Baltimore defense and offense. But I'm still going to go with the Ravens winning this one. I'm suggesting it's going to be a 34-17
That's actually
type
what I
game.
had before I reverted it to 34-20. So we're all unanimously going with Baltimore. They're really good. After we saw them just clobber the 49ers, we knew this team is possibly Super Bowl caliber. We'll have to see what happens with our next picks. We all have Buffalo. Mason and I have them against Houston. Waterford has Kansas City against the Bills. So I'm going to go Buffalo, Houston. We are at 37 minutes.
So let's try to speed
So
things up just a
Buffalo.
little bit.
Yeah, let's
I'm
try and
taking my
speed it
time
up at
though.
least a little bit. Buffalo, Houston. So again, we never expected Houston to be in this spot, but think about momentum real quick. Both
Mm-hmm.
teams have some momentum. The Texans have won 4 out of their last 6 and will be off
Especially
of
the
a
Texans. I
playoff
mean,
win.
they're coming off a huge win at Lucas Oil Stadium to lock up a playoff
Yeah,
spot. And if the Jaguars lost to Tennessee, the Jaguars were left out of the playoffs, and the
big
Texans
joke.
clinched the AFC South for the first time since 2019, I believe.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. All right, but you go on.
To me, momentum matters. Both teams are on momentum. Both obviously off big playoff wins and stretches to end the season. This game in Buffalo, though, you know how that crowd is. I mean, obviously the Bills got embarrassed last year by the Bengals, but the Texans are not the Bengals from last year. If you put the 2022 Bengals up against the 2023 Texans, I say the Bengals win that game because they have Joe Burrow, who was hurt this year. Sucks that they didn't make it, but oh well. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna go with the Bills winning this, and it'll probably be cold, windy, snowy. That's what I would hope. I'm gonna go with Buffalo, and it'll be a closer one. I'm gonna say 24. Let's say 24-17. It'll be a close game. Make your pick for Buffalo and Kansas City. In Buffalo.
All right. So as we talk about these two teams meeting up, whether it's the regular season or in the playoffs, I mean it's just an instant classic. We all know it's about to go down. All 5, 6 something games, I don't remember, have been really close. But this one is extremely different as it is finally going to be hosted in Buffalo, and that's going to play a very huge difference. We talk about the Chiefs' struggles with them having like almost no wide receivers ever since Tyreek Hill left about a season or 2 ago.
For
And
Miami.
with Josh Allen going up against the Chiefs on not on the road, but at home, I feel like the Bills can finally end their drought of losing to the Chiefs in the playoffs by heartbreaker. I am going to be taking the Bills winning by a score of 30-17.
30-17. Wow. Okay, that's only by 13
Yeah.
points. By the way, real quick, Kansas City, Miami, Tyreek Hill revenge game. I forgot to mention that. Tyreek Hill revenge game.
Yep, that's going to be a good matchup.
Mason, your pick for
All
Buffalo
right,
and
who does
Houston.
Mason have next?
For Buffalo and Houston.
Buffalo and Houston, and it's going to be in Buffalo. And Zach already or BHV already mentioned the crowd in Buffalo, and it's going to be wild during the playoffs. Give me Buffalo going with this one. I want to say 27-17.
Unanimous. Next game for all of us, because we all picked the Rams. It is those same Los Angeles Rams going to San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who, if we take a look at the 49ers, honestly, against Baltimore, they looked flat. They did not look good because that defense was stout. They played a great game. They had a great game plan. And in the last week of the season, the Rams actually beat the 49ers. But my guess is they probably had a lot of guys resting. That would be my guess because Sam Darnold was playing. But when the two teams played in LA, the 49ers did come away with a win. And I do think this game will be close. And you know how they always say it's hard to beat the same team 3 times? That's not possible here.
Yeah.
Because they've each won once. But since the 49ers lost in their home the first time around, they're going to win this time. Because they just got too many weapons. Brock Purdy, although he had a rough game against Baltimore, I think he'll be playing, I would think he'd be playing, right?
Yeah. Okay, real quick note, something that I just realized, there is no divisional matchups for Super Wildcard Weekend. But we will probably get some for the divisional rounds, though.
I don't. Yeah. Out of my bracket, I don't see any. You do have one in yours.
Well, no, I'm talking about the wild card matchups for this weekend. There's no divisional matchups.
Yeah. You did allude to the divisionals, though.
Yeah.
So I did say you had one. And Mason had one as well.
On.
I think this game will be close. I think it'll be a defensive battle. I'm going to go with the 49ers, and I'm going to say 20-17. Give me San Francisco. Waterford, make your pick for 49ers and Rams.
All right, so this game, I feel like it's going to be a pretty good game. Now, we talk about how the Niners struggled towards the end of the season. They got whooped by Baltimore. Now, I think I'd only say that because with Baltimore's defense, I don't think Brock Purdy, the still sort of rookie QB, wasn't ready for the amount of a good team the Ravens are with how many weapons they have on defense. As Brock Purdy threw 4 interceptions. Also, by the way, we were all commentating on that game.
We were.
And yeah. But I think the Niners are going to bounce back after that very tough loss. And I feel like the Rams, they really turned things around after a season ago where they were just horrible. So they dealt with a lot of injuries. They dealt with, I'm pretty sure Odell Beckham was out too. And they were just not a good team the previous year. And it was coming off a Super Bowl win, which was kind of surprising. But with that being said, I'm going to take San Fran winning this game, and I feel like it's going to be pretty high scoring. Give me them winning 36-21.
Mason, your pick for the same matchup?
So, I mean, pretty much just what Waterford said in the last segment. This is going to be a good game for sure. But I feel like San Francisco's going to bounce back from their difficulties. I'm going to get the 49ers winning this one by a score of 33-20.
Unanimous. God, this is a lot more clear cut this is a lot more similar than I thought. We all have the same 3 teams going to the divisionals. We've got to have some lone wolfing going on. Am I right? We have quite a bit of it in the wild cards, but not much after
Oh,
that.
I'm gonna barge in here. My school is officially closed for tomorrow. Yippee!
Yippee.
All right. Anyways, back to our picks.
Waterford and I have Dallas and Tampa Bay, while Mason has Dallas and Philly. Or as Waterford likes to say, Eagles and Philly. Remember last year, he said
Right.
Eagles and
I don't
Philly.
even. I don't even. Oh, was it last year's playoff
It
picks?
was
I do remember
last year.
saying it, but I
Roll the
don't remember
clip.
exactly.
Okay, yeah, Eagles and Philly. Eagles and Dallas.
Eagles versus Philly. Good
Eagles.
job.
Hey, Mason, didn't you call the Philadelphia Eagles the Philadelphia Angles?
And didn't you pronounce a player's name?
So, Dallas and Tampa. No brainer. I don't even really need to talk about this one. Because what is there to say? Tampa won tank division. They're not good. Well, they're not great. They're good, but they're not Dallas. I don't. It's bad when I don't even know who Tampa's starting quarterback is. Oh, it's Baker Mayfield. How did I not know that? But I didn't know it off the top of my head. I know who Dak Prescott is. What more is there to say? Dallas is winning this one in a blowout.
All right.
Dallas, I think, is going to have, well, not quite a field day, but I don't know about a blowout. I'm going to say 24. I'm going to say 24-9. Dallas moves on to face their arch playoff nemesis, San Francisco 49ers, for I think the third straight year.
Yeah.
And the 49ers have won both.
So, my prediction for Tampa and Dallas is actually way different. I'm going to be writing a whole different story than what you did, Zach, for your predictions. I'm actually going to be taking the Buccaneers winning this game. As we talk about, I mean, the Cowboys, they haven't really had much playoff success. I think the curse is going to continue. And I honestly think that the Buccaneers are capable of pulling this game out. I mean, I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan, and I feel like the Buccaneers offense is really going to show up for this game. So give me the Buccaneers a winning 24-21.
Okay, so Waterford's taking the Bucks. I did not expect that. So he's got San Fran and Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game. Mason, make your pick for Dallas and Philly.
What I will say is, really good matchup. I'm gonna get with the way these two teams have been playing against each other this season. I feel like Dallas is going to give one more shot at this, so give me Dallas winning against Philadelphia.
And for a score?
With a score of 33-20.
So looking at the season series, the Eagles beat them at home 28-23. They won at home. And the Cowboys won at home 33-13. I just feel like Dallas is the clear-cut better team against Philly. And of course, I have them being the clear-cut better team against Tampa Bay. So, Mason, our championships are the same, while Waterford has one difference with Tampa in over Dallas. First, looking at the AFC game between Baltimore and Buffalo. This was a divisional matchup a couple years ago. The Bills, it was in Buffalo. It was super high wind. It was super cold. The Bills won. I think it was 17-3. It's a much different story this year. That Baltimore defense, woo boy, look out. You're not getting anything past that defense. San Francisco didn't. Buffalo can't. But I feel like the Bills will have a chip on their shoulder. But as badly as I want to send them to the Super Bowl, I just can't. I feel like the Bills have a similar curse as Dallas, where they're not huge playoff succeeders. But they make it every year. They're good. The fans love the Bills, of course. But as badly as I want to send Josh Allen and that dynamic offense to the Super Bowl, I say dynamic, not really. As much as I want to do that, I just can't. Baltimore's too good. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. So quote the Raven. Furthermore, they're going to the Super Bowl. Like what I did there?
What?
Quote. I did a little Edgar Allan Poe. I
Ah,
got
I
I got
see.
the Ravens. Again, quote the Raven. Furthermore, going to the Super Bowl. I say they beat Buffalo. I'm going to say 24-10. They'll hold Buffalo in check. Preferred make your pick for the same matchup.
All right. So, as you said, these two teams have been in the playoffs already. And I feel like this is going to be the AFC Championship we're all going to be wishing for. I feel like this is going to be a really good game, but as much as I really want the Buffalo Bills to make a trip to the Super Bowl, I just don't think they can do it.
I
I
don't think
mean,
so either.
I'd say it definitely is possible, but I think the Ravens are just a much better team. And I feel like the Ravens, well, I know the Bills, they're going to put on a show. But I feel like the Ravens in this matchup, I feel like they're going to get revenge after what happened during the 2020-2021 season.
COVID
So
year.
go ahead and give me the Ravens winning 30-27.
So you have a closer game than me. Mason, your pick for the same matchup.
So who do I got?
Who do you got? Do you have the Ravens or do you have the Bills?
That'll be a really good battle.
It can be.
But Baltimore, their offense, pretty much superior at this point.
Screwed
Give me
everybody.
Baltimore winning
Mhm.
that one
What
with
do you
a
got for?
score of 36-19.
Wow. So you're thinking the same thing I am. Baltimore puts up quite a few points and holds Buffalo in check. You're thinking the same thing I am. And again, as badly as I wanted to do it, sorry, Bills Mafia. I couldn't do it this year. I think the only reason why we sent Buffalo to the Super Bowl last year was because of DeMar Hamlin. The Bills were America's team. They just couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
Although I'd say the Bills, they barely beat a first string quarterback against the Dolphins in the wild card round
Yeah,
and got just almost annihilated by the Bengals in the divisional round. Probably because the team was just still very shaken up about the
they
tragic
were.
situation that had
They were.
unfolded that earlier
So
that season.
moving
So
on to the
yeah.
NFC title game. Mason and I both have the Niners and the Cowboys, while Waterford has the Niners and the Bucks. This is a classic playoff rivalry right here. The 49ers and the Cowboys. They've met the last couple of years in the playoffs in different situations. 2022 playoff, it was the wild card game in Dallas. Well, the year before that, it was in San Francisco, or the year after that, it was San Francisco in the divisional. Again, San Francisco, they've just had a really good year, and I'm going to go with them. Give me it's pretty clear cut. It's going to be a Super Bowl, what was it, 47 rematch between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. And I think the Niners win it by a score. I'm going to say, I got to get moving here. I'm going to say 28-24. It'll be a good game. Waterford, your pick for the Niners and the Bucks.
As I said, I think the Buccaneers, I think they are capable of making the NFC Championship, but I don't think they're going to match up against how good the Niners are. So give me the 49ers winning the NFC Championship and advancing to the Super Bowl for a Super Bowl blackout rematch, and give me the Niners winning 30-13.
Unfortunately, it is not a Harbaugh Bowl like it
Yeah.
was.
Mm-hmm. And who
Mason,
knows? Maybe the Ravens will be up big in the first half. Allegiant Stadium's lights will go out, and then the second half, the Niners will absolutely storm back but fall short.
yeah. Mason, your pick for the Niners and the Cowboys.
The history just goes on between these two teams. I mean,
Lots of history.
San Francisco has just been dominating against Dallas these last few matchups. And I feel like Dallas isn't just going to handle them the way they want it to go. So give me San Francisco winning this one by I feel like it's going to be a close game.
So did I.
36 to 33.
You are very confident in these high-scoring games, Mason. So,
I am.
shocker. We all have the same freaking Super Bowl. It's the Baltimore, quoth the Ravens, against the San Francisco Gold Rush 49ers. That's where they got that from. Gold Rush of, what was it, 1849? I could be wrong. I could be horribly wrong. Now, we saw these two teams meet in San Francisco on Monday Night Football on Christmas. It was a very disappointing game because Baltimore's defense dominated. Do I see that being any different here? Yes. But will it change the result? We'll just have to wait and see. It's Baltimore and the 49ers. You know, the 49ers made the Super Bowl in 2020 playoffs against the Chiefs, but lost. I just don't know if they're good enough to beat the Ravens. Give me Baltimore. I think it'll be a little bit closer. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm going to go a little deja vu. How about we pick the Ravens to win 34-31, just like the Blackout Bowl?
I really like that.
Deja vu. Waterford, make your pick.
Yep. All right. This is the matchup that we've all been waiting for. I would love to see a Super Bowl rematched from 2012, aka the Blackout Bowl at the New Orleans Superdome. We all know what happened with that. And so for my Super Bowl pick, I have for it back-to-back years for both of the one seeds to make the Super Bowl. As we said earlier, the 49ers, they have absolutely almost every weapon imaginable, but they can enter in struggle points at oftentimes, as I stated earlier. They once lost 3 straight games in the regular season, and they just got annihilated by the same team. But this Super Bowl is going to be different. The Ravens are just about the same deal. I don't think anyone had expected the Ravens to be like to have the absolute best record in the NFL this season. Some people thought they were still going to be a mediocre team like they usually are. But I have a very strong feeling that Lamar Jackson is going to get his first Super Bowl ring, as I am going to pick the Ravens to win by a score of 27-23. And that is my Super Bowl champion for this year's playoffs.
Mason?
Well, the last time these two teams met each other in the early season, Baltimore just dominated. But this will be an interesting one. Give me, well, hang on. I want to talk about this first. San Francisco, I feel like they're going to improve since that game against Baltimore. I feel like their offense has kind of improved. This could be a close game. Give me San Francisco winning this one.
Wow, going to the 49er.
By a score of 36-33.
Oh, how original. You had the 49ers winning 36-33 in 2 straight weeks.
Well, actually, here. Give me them winning 30 to 27.
So, myself and Waterford have picked the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl, while Mason has gone with the San Francisco 49ers on the same matchup. We're pretty chalky when it comes to our picks. Watch our brackets blow up by the second week.
Well, let's do mention me and Zach both went 6 for 6 in the wild card round last year, which was very, very good.
Not happening this year. Just watch. One of them's gonna
Yeah,
be.
because we have a lot of more very very good games that can go either way this season. So yeah, we'll see. I think we'll still do fairly good though.
So that's gonna do it for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit the bell so you don't miss out on any videos. Share with your friends so you spread the word. And for Waterford WX and Prod by Mason, this is BHV signing off. Have a good night.